It was an age of unprecedented exploration, a time beginning in the 15th century when in a series of bold voyages, European seafarers established beyond doubt that all the seas were connected. And with the right ships and a system of navigation, that a mariner could go anywhere in the world and expect to return. Best of all, he could make enormous profits from the venture. But long before this age, as early as the 10th century, some 500 years before Columbus, Viking voyages of discovery to North America had taken place. There may have been Irish voyages, but because no known trade or permanent colonization occurred, most of Europe remained ignorant. By the end of the 11th century, Polynesian seafarers traveling in sailing canoes had colonized much of the South Pacific. In 7 separate voyages between 1405 and 1433, Chinese fleets charted the coast of India and West Africa. At the same time, Arab traders routinely made 2,000-mile open-sea passages across the Indian Ocean to the Far East. But much of the knowledge resulting from these very early voyages remained locked up within the discovering societies, isolated from European adventurers. Until the 13th century, Mediterranean trade with Asia existed either by way of land routes or by the Moorish-controlled Red Sea. But with the closing of China to the Western world in the Ming Dynasty, and later by the Turkish conquest of Constantinople, trade became so expensive that Europeans began thinking of alternate routes. In order to find a sea course to Asia, however, a particular kind of knowledge was needed, a knowledge of navigation, cartography, and instrumentation, together with the development of ships capable of exploration. In the first half of the 14th century, Prince Henry of Portugal, later known as Henry the Navigator, gathered and focused that knowledge. Using royal revenues, he created a naval arsenal attracting astronomers, mathematicians, and cartographers from as far away as Arabia. They worked for years developing tables to determine latitude, creating portolan charts and designing and improving existing navigation instruments. In the early 1400s, Portuguese expeditions to map the west coast of Africa began and quickly proved profitable, with the discovery of gold in Guinea and the sale of African slaves. By the time Henry died in 1460, a southern course around Africa to the Indies had been set. In 1488, Bartholomew Diaz rounded the southern cape of Africa, and the age of discovery had truly begun.